Hey guys, this is Tracy Latona with Golden Horse Financial Coaching. I am back in the saddle. Took a couple weeks off to work through some family tragedies, and I'm so happy to be back. And today's topic is one that I'm sure the nation is just going nuts over. Biden's administration with this whole student loan forgiveness program reform, all of it. So let's dive in and let's dig into some nitty-gritty details and what they actually mean, what they could mean, and potential outcomes based off of the decision of what was released yesterday for the student loan forgiveness. So just to back up, one of President Biden's campaign promises was student loan forgiveness up to $10,000 for student loans. And over 2 years into his presidency, he has finally signed that bill. There are people who are rejoicing greatly in the streets, and there's a lot of people who either didn't take out loans, worked their butt off to go through college, or have already paid off their loans that are pretty ticked off about this. So let's kind of get into some facts here. So with this forgiveness, forbearance, meaning not having to pay on your federal student loans at 0% interest, has been extended for the 8th and possibly the final time until December 31st of this year. So people who've had federal loans haven't had to pay on them for 2 years, over 2 years. So once again, with that, if you are able, I highly encourage you to throw anything and everything that you can, if that is where you are in your debt snowball, at this 0%, because everything that you are throwing at these student loans is going to principal. I've been working with my clients to be able to make the greatest impact on their debt snowball to become financially free through this process by paying on their student loans as their situation allows. The second thing with the forgiveness program is the income-driven repayment plan has been reformed to go from 10% of discretionary income, so income after rent, income after groceries, basically income paying for things needed to survive, went from 10%, or is supposed to go from 10% down to 5% of that. So let's just say that you have, let's do easy math, $100 left over in discretionary income. So instead of having to pay back $10, you now only have to pay back $5. But what does that do for the loan? What that does is, I'm foreseeing it as extending how long you are in debt by double, even triple, because I'm sure there's interest tacked on that. And I've worked with people who are making their minimum payments, but what they owe is growing. It's more than what they took out, even though they've been making their minimum payments. So is that helpful? In the long run, no. I see that as causing more damage, because the goal here with coaching is to have financial freedom and not owing the government or anybody else any money. I see this as extending that even further, even though the payments are lower for the month. And then here comes the big one. People are receiving, if you have federal loans, $10,000 forgiveness if you did not have a Pell Grant, and up to $20,000 if you did have a Pell Grant. A Pell Grant is for those who are considered lower income, who make it easier to receive even more student loans, makes it easier to take on more debt for college, who are at that lower income level. So those people are receiving $20,000 in forgiveness. And the up to part of that, with the asterisks and everything, is, let's just say that you owe $6,000 left on your student loans and you qualify for the $10,000. Well, you'll have your $6,000 forgiven. You won't get the extra $4,000. That's not going to happen. And then the income qualifier is you have to make less than $125,000 for individual, or $250,000 to $50,000 per married couple filing jointly on your taxes. 60% of the people who qualify for this forgiveness are Pell Grant recipients, meaning that they will have $20,000 of their student loans forgiven. So when are these balances going to be removed? I can't find anything on this. All I know is that there is going to be an application to update your information on your address, your contact information, as well as how much money you make. So for those who are already on an income-driven repayment program, if your information is in the system already, you might not have to fill out the application. I would encourage you to fill it out anyway, because it's the government's, just in case. And that application is supposed to be released sometime between now and the end of the year. They don't have a date on it. So without the application, logic says they don't know when the student loan forgiveness is actually going to be removed from people's accounts. So how much is this costing the taxpayers? According to the New York Times, Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania did a calculation saying that this forgiveness is going to be costing taxpayers between $300 billion and $980 billion. That's a huge difference between $300 and $980 billion. That is almost $1 trillion. And when I tried to put a picture on Facebook of what $1 trillion looked at, I got flagged for false information. I won't get into that here. I'm a little salty and bitter about trying to educate how much $1 trillion actually looks like. And keeping in mind that Americans already have $1.6 trillion in student loan debt. So how is this going to affect taxes? How is this going to affect future generations? And how much is this $10,000 to $20,000 of forgiveness actually going to cost people in the long run? There's even a small chance that people could follow lawsuits to reverse this order. There's a small chance that lawsuits could be filed to reverse this order. What does that mean? It means that if there are lawsuits filed, it could delay the actual forgiveness or the $10,000 to $20,000 of loans erased even further and keep kicking the can down the road. And it can even mean that the order can be reversed, meaning that, yes, the president said it, there was a lawsuit, investigations happen, and they find that, no, they can't actually do this. Supposedly, that's why it's been taking 2 years, is to make sure that the president could legally follow through on his promises that he made. I encourage you, no matter what your situation is, whether this $10,000 wipes out the rest of your student loan debt and you're debt free, and that was the last thing that you had, or if this amount is so small compared to where you are in debt that it barely even makes a dent. Guys, you have control over your destiny. You have control over how you manage your money. You have control over deciding, I've had enough. I'm sick of this. I don't want to depend on the government to sustain me. I feel sick and I want to puke, but I don't know what to do. You can do something about it. You can do something about it. Please reach out for a conversation if you're feeling hopeless. If you're super pumped about this student loan forgiveness and you want to manage your money better and you're ready to have somebody walk alongside of you to help you dream again and help you be able to get there to achieve those dreams again, I encourage you to reach out for a conversation. If you're just like, man, I don't know what to do next. My spouse thinks one way, I think another way, and we just can't talk about finances. I don't know what to do. I feel hopeless. Guys, there is hope. There is always hope. You can choose to make those changes. You can choose to start making those short-term sacrifices, get on a budget, create your debt snowball, and start destroying your debt so that way you never have to owe anybody another penny again. There are people in their 40s, and I hear people in their 70s saying, I will never pay off my student loans. I say that's a load of BS because you are not a victim. You can decide for yourself what you will do to change your circumstances. And I've helped dozens of people who are ready to take that step. I invite you into a conversation for that. Guys, please like and share this video. Get the word around. I hope it was helpful for you. And I pray that you will take charge of your own future. Thanks, guys. Have a blessed day.